Okay, so in this tutorial I'll be showing you guys how to set up a Launchpad. I'll be using the Launchpad Pro, which is this. I'll give you a view here of what it looks like, okay? And it's really simple, so the first thing you want to do is hook it up with your cable. So I don't know if it's going to be the same case with you guys, but this is actually really tough. Like it's a really tight fit. So don't be afraid to break it, just get it in there. Okay, and then with the USB, just plug that into your computer like this. And that's connected. And now what you want to do is press this power button. Okay, and you'll immediately see when you press it, it lights up and does that cool effect. And now our Launchpad's connected. Okay. And it might not look like this, it might actually look like this when it's connected, depending on whether you have Ableton installed or not and open. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that now. So Ableton will be the program that you'll be using for playing the Launchpad. It's a DAW, which is a digital audio workstation, and it's a really powerful program. Skrillex and deadmau5 and loads of other artists use it. And you can do loads of other stuff besides playing the Launchpad. You can produce full songs, you can use other plugins, you can render, wave, and all of those kind of formats, import audio, MIDI, if you know what that means. Remix, perform, DJ, it's really a powerful program. So you can start off with just going to ableton.com, and I'll provide links for all of these tabs in the description. So you can try out the full version, which is Ableton Live 9 Suite. 9 is the current version of it. And you can just select your operating system and download it, and you can try a 30-day trial. So after that, you're probably going to have to buy it. I bought mine. I currently use Suite. I started off with Standard, but then I upgraded. And I'm not going to tell you where to get the naughty version. Ableton is awesome, and I think it is expensive, but it's well worth the money. So as I said, you've got Intro, and it's for 79 euros, Standard for 350, and Suite for 5.99. And the prices in dollars will probably be similar. And so I recommend watching this video again, or going to this page again after the demo. So after 30 days and you're familiar with the program, and you kind of know what you want out of it. Watch this again, or check this out at least, and really do your homework for what version you want to buy. Because I started out with Suite, with Standard, and I really wish I had Suite, okay? So here you've got all the features, and all of these ticks and numbers indicate what each version has. And it's a really detailed list. But you've got Intro, Standard, and Suite here in order. The only things that I think are really important, to be honest, for somebody starting out, are these two, and this one when you want to get a bit more advanced with the Launchpads. So once you know what these things are, so you should be familiar with it already, you should know, okay, so you'll have limited audio and MIDI tracks to 16 and only 8 scenes per each track. And I find that really limiting. So to me, I wouldn't really recommend Intro to anyone except for somebody who really wants to do basic stuff with Ableton. So as I said, I started out with Suite, and you've got unlimited tracks and scenes, and that's great. The only thing that was missing, and I felt was missing from the Suite version, so between Standard and Suite, was Max for Live. So that's the thing I really wanted from the Suite version. The extra sounds and other components are cool, but Max for Live was what I really wanted. And Max for Live, basically, it's a visual programming application that you can use in Ableton. And it allows you to kind of go beyond and almost hack what Ableton can do. And so it can allow you to do stuff differently with Ableton, and it can allow the Launchpad to do different stuff too. So you can change how the Launchpad would normally work. So for example, if you want to do a light show and you want to use like the top row of your Launchpad buttons, then you need a, so I'm talking about the round buttons. If you want those to light up, you're going to need a Max for Live device. So you're going to need Max for Live. And what else can I say? Yeah, I think Max for Live, you should get it either if you want to play like all of the projects that are out there, because some of them use Max for Live. If you've got a bad computer and you want light shows to take up less CPU, then you should get Max for Live, because there's an awesome plugin for doing that. And yeah, if you want to create your own projects and you really want to go and do advanced stuff, then get Max for Live. Otherwise, most projects will open and work fine with standard, and you should be able to get most of your stuff done in like 90% of the cases with standard. So that's the difference, and I recommend watching this again, as I said, after the 30 days. And the last thing I recommend getting is ASIO. It's an audio driver, and you can get it at asioforall.com, and link will be in the description. And you can just download your the language that you want here. And basically, what does it do? So when you press a Launchpad button, normally you'll get like a fraction of a second of delay. So you press the button, and then you'll hear the sound after a tiny amount of time. But still kind of noticeable when you're playing. And ASIO basically is a driver that really reduces that time, and it makes it feel like it's almost playing at the exact time when you touch a pad. So that's great. The only downfall of it is you can't use any other audio applications. So when you want to use Ableton with the ASIO driver, you need to close all your browsers, Skype, any video players and stuff. So only Ableton has access to the audio. So otherwise you basically won't hear any of the audio from Ableton. So that's kind of the downfall, but you can work with a normal driver normally and then just switch to the ASIO driver. I'll show you how in a second. When you want to, say, record a video, or if you need to do a live performance in front of people, then I recommend definitely using this. So let's go ahead and open Ableton. And this is kind of, you get this prompt screen when you open it. It'll change color according to the version you have. And the first thing we should do is go into Options and Preferences. And here you've got all of our preferences. So the first thing you might notice is Ableton looks a bit different for you. So you can go into the Look and Feel tab. And here, Skin, Brightness, Color Intensity. And here you can just copy my settings. So Disco, 100, 100, and 223. And that will get Ableton to look like mine, if you like the way it looks. Otherwise, experiment with whatever you like. Then here you can select the audio driver. So under the audio tab, you've got driver type. And you've got MME DirectX, which will allow you to, you might have a different one if you're on a Mac, but basically the non-audio one should allow you to use Ableton and use Skype or a browser, or watch a video outside of Ableton, and you can use them both at the same time without any problems. ASIO, as I said before, you have to close everything to hear what's happening in Ableton. And then here, under output and input, you can select your microphone and your speakers. And then here you can select your sample rate. I recommend, I guess 44,100 is, I think that's the same quality as a CD. You can go higher really, but if you're new to this, I don't think it'll be noticeable for you. Then you can change your buffer size, which will change the delay. So here you can see the latency, which is the delay that I was talking about. So you can change that. If you're noticing a lot of delay, just reduce this. So output buffer size. And that should be all you need for the audio. Next, let's get into the interesting stuff. So let's set the Launchpad up. So I'm just going to set all of this to none. So the first thing you want to do is under Control Surface in the first slot, go down and select Launchpad Pro. If you've got a Launchpad Pro. If you've got a Launchpad MK2, select MK2. If you've got a Launchpad S or the first generation Launchpad, just select Launchpad, okay? And keep in mind, in all of the other ones, so now here in input, I'm going to select Launchpad Pro, not port 2 or port 3, just Pro. And same thing for output, Launchpad Pro. So here, if you've got the MK2, select MK2, and I think you get what I mean. And under here, in MIDI ports, so you can see Launchpad Pro input and then Launchpad Pro port 2, port 3. Just don't do anything with the 2 ports. I don't even know what they do. Just select, so for the Launchpad Pro input, track on and remote on, and you'll see this happen. So these lights will come up, and you should see like you get this red box, at least mine's red, around your tracks. And then do the same thing for output. So not port 2 or port 3, just Launchpad Pro output, select track on and remote on. And that should be that. So this Launchpad's set up. In case you've got a second one, I'm just going to turn it on, power button just next to the just next to the plug. So I'll do the animation. And I'm not sure about the MK2. I know the Launchpad S doesn't have a power plug, so you should just plug it in. So now you can see, you can select in the second slot, select Launchpad Pro again, or MK2 or whatever you have. And then here you've got Launchpad Pro number 2, and Launchpad Pro number 2, so select those. And then here again you've got the first Launchpad, so Launchpad Pro input, Launchpad Pro port 2, port 3. Then you've got Launchpad Pro input, and it's a bit annoying, you can't see it's number 2, but just, you can see Launchpad Pro input, port 2, port 3, and then Launchpad number 2 just under here, so you know this is the second. So do that, and you'll see that turns on too. And now if you check this, there's another box here, so if you actually press the down button, you can see this is one Launchpad, and this is the other, this red one. And do the same thing, so here's the outputs for the Launchpad 2. So Launchpad Pro output, not port 2 or port 3, just this one. Just select on for track and remote. So now these are set up. And finally, one last thing I'll show you guys is under record and warp and launch. I recommend setting, so exclusive, by default, I think the exclusive is activated. Make sure to deactivate them, and I'll explain why in a second. And lastly, the default warp mode, tongue twister, select that to complex, okay? Because usually it's set to beats, I think, as a default. Complex is just way better. So there you go. Those are the preferences set up.